GitHub is not just for those who want to go back in time, nor is it just for software developers. Hey, welcome back to Design with Miyoshi. I want to show you a different way to use GitHub, and that is as a portfolio keeper. So let me share my screen with you here, and we will go ahead and show you. This is what I'm going to be following. It's a GitHub repository that I have. It's got a how to use terminal Git. This is mostly, I was using it for macOS, and I was using it in terms of trying to create a repo or repository for Unity, but you can use it for portfolios as well. So I'm using on Windows, I'm using what we call Git Bash, and here is, if you just search for Git Bash Windows, you'll come up with this place here, and I just clicked on the top one, and this Git for Windows, gitforwindows.org. You can just download and do that, set it up. And I like to use the command line tools. It's nice. It's what I'm familiar with, and so it's a great thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead. So to use GitHub as a portfolio keeper, what you need to do is, let's move myself down here. You need to go ahead and create a new repository in GitHub. So I just went to my own repositories, and if you are a student especially, you want to go ahead and make sure you make all private repositories, and then as you are ready to get jobs and share your repositories with other folks, then you can make them public. But in the beginning, make them all private. So I'm going to go to new, and I'm going to call my repository, I'm going to call it portfolio test. Okay, and I can put it in a description, but I'm not going to do that for right now. I'll make mine private, and I can go ahead and add a README and a license. You can do that later, or you can do it now, either one. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to choose my license. It's going to be the MIT license, and then which keeps your copyrights for you. But anyway, it makes it so that you can share it if you'd like, but it keeps your copyrights intact. Okay. Now, once I do this, I can add, or I can change my README real quick, and I can just put in here testing GitHub as a keeper of portfolio. Okay. So I'm just going to put that in there for now and commit that. I'm going to do all my commits to the master branch, and there we have the portfolio test, the README. Okay. And that shows up right when you go to your portfolio, to your repository. I'm not going to look at the license. We don't have to worry about that. And then what you can do is, what you need to do is then go to Git Bash on your own computer. And again, I like to use the command line here. What we do is, this is, if I do an ls stands for list or list your files, and this just tells me what's in the folder that it defaults to. And that little tilde, that says I'm in my documents, actually one up from my documents, users, and then my name on my hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead and go to source. So I'll just do a cd space source. And if you're using Unix or Linux or Mac OS, you'll have to make sure you do capital. So I try to, or capitalization has to be the same on your folder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here too as well. Then I can look, and I'll do ls again, and I can see that I have repos in there. And that's where all the repos that I have. Now I'm going to make a repo called mkdir. So I'll do make directory, which is mkdir, and I'll just call it portfolio test. Now I need to make sure I change the directory to get in there, so I'll do portfolio test. And now what I can do is just do something called git init. Now when you do a git init, that says, you see this little master here, that says I have created a local repository called portfolio test, and it's in this folder, repos, source repos, portfolio test. I think I did that. I need to make sure this is check. Oops, I guess I didn't. Oops, I messed up. I went down too far. There we go. Now I need to make a directory. I can make a directory here, mkdir. There we go. Now I'll change directories. And there's nothing in here, and that's good. So what I'll do is git space init, and that creates a portfolio test directory, a repo for me, just a local one. Okay. Now over here, I've already created my, in GitHub, I've already created my, oh, come on, quit doing that. I've created my portfolio. And what I want to do is I want to sync them up. So what I'm going to do is go to Git Bash again, and I'm going to make sure I have this remote. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sync them up between GitHub and my local repository. So I'll go to code, and I will, this is what I want to copy. So I'll just click this button. This is copy to clipboard. So I'll click that, and sometimes I'll click it a couple times. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do git remote add origin. Now you can change the word origin, but that's kind of what people use. So I'll do git commit or git remote add origin, and then I'll paste in by right clicking and pasting. That pastes in my repository name on GitHub. So I'll hit enter, and then now all I have to do is, so that's synced me up. It should give me a username, password. I should have to put that in here, but I've already done that. So you would do that the first time you run git bash, and then all I have to do is I'll do a git full, and then again I'll paste in the repository name. I'll hit enter, and then that'll sync up everything I've got. So now if I go ahead and look at my repos, and I go to portfolio test, you see that I've got this git folder, and I've got the README and the license are now here. So now this is all synced up and ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple files from SolidWorks. I'll just put in this first drawing. So I'll just grab the drawing, the SolidWorks, and actually I'm going to do something else before I do that. I'm going to create this directory structure here, or folder structure, whatever you want to call that. And I'm going to create some new things. So I'll just make a new folder, and I'm going to call it documents. Those are going to be the write-ups I'm going to make. And I'm going to make another one called models. I'm going to create another one called images. And see if there's anything else I want to have here. Documents, images, models. And I can maybe I'll make one called drawings as well. Okay, so those are going to be my document or my folders that I want in my portfolio. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring over the things I want. So I'll bring over the drawing first. So let's just drag the drawing over here. And instead of there, I'll just put it there for now, and then I'll move these over to where I want them eventually. Oops, I don't want to move them. I just want to copy them. So let's copy them instead. If I was going to create a portfolio, I'd probably want to move them and keep them there, but I'm going to just copy them because I want them to be in both places in this case. I did not want to move them. All right, so I have these three guys here. This happens to be my drawing, so I'm going to create that. That's going to stay in my images. This is my actual SolidWorks drawing, so I'll put that in drawings. And this is my actual SolidWorks part. I'll put that in models. And now what I've got to do is, now what I can do is I will go ahead and sync this back up with GitHub up on the internet. So what I'm going to do there is, first of all, I'm going to just do a git status to see what's changed between the two. And it says, hey, I've got this drawings, models, and images. Notice it did not put in the documents. Well, that's because the documents is empty and it doesn't really care about empty folders. So I'm going to go ahead and do git add dot. The dot says add everything. So I'll do git add dot, and that should add everything in there. And I'll do git status again. And this again is just looking at my local repository. It says, hey, what's changed? And that says, hey, I've got a new file in my repository locally. And then all I have to do now is do a git commit. And I'll do a git commit -m, that says message, and then I will put in a commit message. So this is my initial commit. And I like to put in as much good stuff as I can. So I'll do added folders and drawing, oopsie, model, and a PDF. Double quote, and that is my message. That'll commit it. This is all local again, and then I just do a git push origin master. This sends it back up to the GitHub online. So now it's going to push this up to my portfolio. However long it takes to do that, depending on the internet, then I just go over to the internet itself, and I'll go to my portfolio. And now look, it's updated, right? Well, all I can do is do a refresh. And now there it is. All my drawings, the drawing that I have, the single drawing, the single model that I've got, and the single image that I've got, my PDF. That is all now up on the internet, and it's safe, and it'll stay safe. We can then do commits as we change our drawings and models and images. We can push them as well. So the question is that you should have is, what about that documents folder? Well, if you really want that documents folder to show up there without any document, you have to put something in the documents folder for it to show up here if you're going to do it with your push. If you want to show up here, which is what I'm going to show you, you can actually make a folder here, but you do it by adding a file. See, there's nothing here that says make a folder. So what you do is you go add file. So I'm creating a file. And what you have to do is you say, hey, I want to make a documents folder, and then I put a slash, and then I'll put a readme.md. And this creates a new readme file, and it just says, this is merely a placeholder for now for my, so I could create a documents folder. Okay, then I'll just do commit. And now you're wondering, you might be wondering, or you should be wondering, well, what happens back here? Well, nothing happens back here until you do a pull. So I'm just do a git. Let's see here. Let's do a git status again. Okay, and notice it's clean here because that says that everything's good on the remote, on the local portion. So what I can do is I can do a git pull because I know I've changed something, and I'll push the source there again. Uh-oh, that's not what I want. I'll do a git pull, and I'll just come back here again, and I'll just get the code, copy the URL, and right click and paste, and I'll pull it down from there. Okay, and now if you look in the folder locally, you'll see the documents has this readme folder in it. Now there's one more thing I want to show you, one last thing, one just tiny bit, and that is this. I would suggest that everybody, I'm just going to go, oh my goodness, if you go to gitignore.io, even with a portfolio like what we just created, I would create a gitignore. And the reason I would is because there are certain Windows files that are hidden, and there are certain Mac OS files that are hidden that you don't want to show. So I'm going to do a create. I'll do a Control A or Command A, depending on whether you're using Mac or PC, Control C, and I'll come back to my portfolio, and I will create here, I will create a new file, and I'm going to do .gitignore, and notice it says, you'll notice you can use a template, but I'm going to use none, and I'll just click there, and I'll paste it, Control V, and paste it in there. Notice there's a bunch of stuff here that says, hey, you don't want to have that stuff copied over, so I'll hit commit file, and I believe I have that in the correct place, but that should make sure that you don't get all those hidden files. If it's not in the right place, it would probably go in documents, and I can move that over to documents if I need to. All right, so that's using GitHub as a portfolio. Hopefully this helps you out, and yes, you can go back in time as long as you do commits. Make sure you commit often. Every time you make some great save on your local computer, make sure you update your Git by committing it and then uploading it by pushing it. So follow along here, follow along on the Voids repo, and especially if you are wanting to create a portfolio, this is a great way to do it. Again, like I tell my students, keep them private until you're ready to share them with the world, but GitHub is a great way to make some portfolios. One thing I forgot to mention earlier about GitHub portfolios and GitHub in general and Git bash is if I exit my Git bash and then I come back in and I want to change up my portfolio, because of course you're gonna have changes along the way. You just go back to Git bash and notice that it puts me back in the same place, and I can just do cd and cd repos, and I can do that all in one fell swoop if I'd like. I don't always remember where I'm at. Cd portfolio test. And notice that it's got this master here again. I don't have to go back and go through the git init process or anything like that. It's already there. So all I have to do now is if I have whatever I have to do in terms of pushing or pulling or status checking the status, I can just do that because I already know that there's a repo already here. So if you are worried about getting it all done in one fell swoop, that's never going to happen. So what you want to do is just get used to using this git bash command line tool, and you will be on your way to creating and updating your portfolio as often as you need to. And again, I suggest anytime you make some cool thing happen, go ahead and update that portfolio. So hopefully that takes care of that one little part that I missed, and hopefully this helps you with thinking about GitHub as a portfolio repository for yourself. So thanks for tuning in with me for Design with Miyoshi. We'll see you next time.